guys, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is The Lady Designer, and today we are here with a super inspiring vlog made by me in Artis, which is a city zoo located in the middle of Amsterdam. Now I do have to admit that this first of all was a little family trip with me, my boyfriend, his lovely youngest son, and my lovely mom. So making some footage for a vlog was not like my #1 priority this day, but still I think I made some really great footage of a lot of really cool habitats in this city zoo, of which I am sure they are going to inspire you all for your own Planet Zoo builds, as much as they inspire me for my own Planet Zoo habitats. I really think that this zoo has a great variety of habitats and themes that can be used in many different ways in your own builds. Now this footage is all taken with my phone, so it may not be the greatest quality at some devices, but I am sure you guys will still enjoy a lot of this footage to get an idea of this beautiful Amsterdam city zoo. Now, of course, with a city zoo like this, there will be some habitats that you will be like, this habitat may look a little bit small, but there are also like a lot of habitats that has been improved over the years. But just like any other zoo at the moment, they are just really struggling financially, and like a lot of the plans to expand their habitat are just being postponed because they just do not have money at this point to continue and expand their zoo, unfortunately. But obviously, like the main focus of all zoos is to take best care of their animals and do their best as much as possible to give them a happy and healthy life. But yeah, now without further talking, let's just go over and check out the footage that I've made. And do not forget to leave a thumbs up at the video and leave something nice in the comments down below if you enjoy. So the first habitat that we are seeing right now is from the Scimitar horned Orig, and this is like the first habitat that you will see when you walk through the entrance of Artis. And I was really impressed by this one. I absolutely love the architecture, the color schemes, and also like the fact that we're in Holland, but we do have like these palm trees and stuff. So that really just shows me again that even though you're building in a temperate European zoo, for example, you can still have palm trees even though they do not really grow here in real life unless you plant them. So I absolutely love that. Also just love the fact like how this habitat is like surrounded by water with not like that much space in between them, and like the rockwork, of course, and just the building and shelters. It just looks absolutely beautiful. Definitely one that I will get a lot of inspiration of for my future habitats. And this is the Barbary macaque habitat, definitely one of the more older habitats, more classical habitats of Artis Zoo. And yeah, we could definitely debate that this habitat might be too small, and I'm pretty sure that artists have plans for this habitat as well to make it bigger in the future. Nonetheless, I absolutely love the shape of like this shelter building. I think this is like representing some kind of rock formation, and while the climbing frames and like the waterfall and the rockwork definitely are super inspiring, as well as like the shape of the island itself. I absolutely love this habitat, despite it being too small, that is. So this is the golden-cheeked gibbon habitat. I really do hope that this is the right species. I had to look it up later on. But what is really cool with this habitat is that they have like this indoor building with like a lot of glass and a lot of climbing frames. And then there is like this walkway with some netting on the right side, which is going all the way to this island, which is surrounded by water, which has like tons of climbing frames. But yeah, we are in a zoo, and well, most of the times when you are in a zoo, you don't really see that many animals. So unfortunately, we did not see any golden-cheeked gibbons climbing from one side to the other side or using the island, but definitely super inspiring habitat as well for at least my own Planet Zoo builds. Absolutely love it, especially looking at like these climbing frames and the rope and the beams and stuff. Really like it. So this is some kind of European birds aviary. Now I actually was hoping to make some more footage later on when exiting the zoo, but we exit the zoo on a different side. So I actually do not have any more footage of this aviary, but I did want to add this footage because of the shape and like the structures, how this aviary is put together, because I do really find this super inspiring. So yeah, hopefully you guys like that too. And also notice like that little cabin thingy in the aviary itself where the birds are sitting on and probably building their nest or anything like that. And here is a very short clip of the flamingo habitat. Like, I think just one shot shows at least what I was able to see from this angle of how they made this habitat. So I did want to include this habitat as well for you guys, just to see how this one is put together. And right over here, we have a big variety of different type of animals. I don't really think that this is like their permanent habitat. I felt like this was more like a put together of all animals that can get along well, and they will probably get a different habitat in a later stage. I do not know that for sure. This is my guess. But this is a combination of the South American tapir, the capybara, which I was super excited for because I just never saw capybara in real life. And the first time that I saw it walking, I was like, oh my goodness, that's a capybara. I just basically freaked out a little bit. Absolutely love it. And then you also have the vicuña, I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, giant anteater, which I unfortunately did not see during our visit. And I think also some other animals of which I just do not know the name of, but definitely a really cool habitat to get a lot of inspiration of, especially with the feeders and stuff as well. So right over here we have the Jaguar Habitat, which is a jaguar and also a black jaguar, aka panther. Now there is like this pathway with like some rocks going exactly through the middle, higher up through this habitat with like a lot of netting on both sides. Now it was just so busy with a lot of kids, so I was just like, you know what, I'm just not going to make some footage here because it was just crazy, and it will be more of like footage of some kids instead of like footage of how they made everything in the middle of the habitat. But yeah, definitely really cool to see how they like added their netting with like this round shaped structure. I was really impressed by that. So I did find that super inspiring and absolutely loved it. And here we have the Meerkat Habitat. Now this one was definitely a lot smaller. When we arrived, we saw these two meerkats just fighting the whole time. But yeah, they have like this pretty tiny habitat with like this big rock formation, if you call it that way, in the middle of their habitat. And I'm pretty sure that there are like different types of holes and tunnels and stuff in there and underneath there. But yeah, I wasn't really able to make too many shots here because there were just so many people around it, so it was really hard to make some clear shots for you guys. So just to give you guys an idea of how this habitat has been built and a little bit of the surroundings. Then we get to the blue and yellow macaque aviary. Now this one was pretty cool, especially like the shape again. Like I think this is very much city zoo like, where you see a lot of these round aviaries. I think that just looks really cool. But it was really hard with my phone to make some footage like really more inside of these aviaries of how they are put together. And after that we will see like a lot of different aviaries. I did not write down all the different kinds of species. I'm pretty sure that there are like some really cool bird fans that know Artis Zoo and know exactly what bird is in what habitat. So please do let me know in the comments down below if you know. But yeah, I just really did not write that down or anything like that. But I absolutely loved how all these aviaries are made and put together. Like, even though we don't really have birds still in Planet Zoo, I really do hope we will see them in the future, because these type of aviaries and these shots are just so inspiring and really makes me feel like I really want to build aviaries now in my zoo. But I just always feel conflicted because we don't really have flying birds. But yeah, definitely some really inspiring shots for at least the people that want to make implied Planet Zoo aviary habitats, I guess. So yeah, I do really think that even though we do not have lion birds, I think these shots definitely can give you a lot of inspiration for your own habitats and aviaries. And then we arrive at the African penguin habitat. And as you can tell, this habitat has like this big, huge netting around the whole area. And they have like a lot of these really small little doors and stuff, or like, I don't know, rock formations where they can make their nests in and stuff. But yeah, the water itself is pretty shallow. So they don't really have that much space to deep dive, at least not that I could see around the whole habitat, or did I miss out on anything though? I don't really think so. So yeah, they have this really shallow water, but they have like a pretty big area where they could all enjoy and relax and just do what penguins do, I guess. But definitely, I do think that you can take a lot of inspiration of this habitat as well, especially with like the rock formations and stuff that I just said, like where they can create their nests in. I think we also have some kind of rock formations with the faux rocks from the aquatic pack. So you can basically create something similar like this in the game. But yeah, apart from the shallow water, I do feel like you should make it a little bit deeper if you would go for like a recreation of this, because I do feel like African penguins just do really need some deeper water to play around in. But yeah, the rock work is definitely really cool of this habitat, and also just the shape in general. I only am missing like the netting. We cannot make any nettings ourselves in Planet Zoo. But yeah, other than that, definitely really great habitat for a lot of inspiration. And on the other side of the penguins, we have the Redneck Lullaby. I just really don't know. We call it Walibi, I think, in Dutch, but I just really don't know how to say Wallaby in English. Maybe I just say it right. Maybe I say it wrong. Apologies in advance if it's wrong. But yeah, we have the Redneck Lullaby habitat right over here, which is just a fairly simple habitat. I do really like the rock formations and also the fencing, how this is made, and also the shelter building in the backside. Also a little bit of an older state of a habitat, but I do think that they have quite enough space here to walk around and enjoy, and also just a lot of shadow with like the trees and stuff. So definitely do like how this habitat is set up. A more simple way for a animal that cannot really use a super spectacular habitat. I think they would not be super happy with a lot of different height elevations, for example. And also notice like the fencing around the habitat with like these little sticks or like bamboo or something like that. Definitely things to take inspiration and notes of for Planet Zoo. And here we see the Ostrich Habitat. Now, I honestly did not make too much footage of this habitat, but I really wanted to record a little bit of the fencing and stuff. Like, it is a little bit hard with these angles to recreate this in Planet Zoo, but I still really felt like this could definitely inspire everyone for like how you could kind of make the fencing around your habitat. But yeah, other than that, I did not really make some footage of the habitat itself, so apologies for that. But I think it's just a pretty simple and plain habitat with just some green and stuff around it. And here is the gorilla habitat. Now, unfortunately, this outdoor habitat, I did not really see more than this shot of it, but we did see like the indoor habitat, which was a lot further away or something like that. Like, we tried to find the outdoor habitat later on, but we just weren't really sure how to get there, so we kind of skipped that. But the indoor habitat definitely looks really cool, definitely more classical when it comes down to like a city zoo. Absolutely love how the structure is put together with like the glassy walls and stuff on the top, and just the climbing frames in general. Like, that just looks super cool and definitely super inspiring. So yeah, they do have this big outdoor area as well, but unfortunately, I do not have any footage of that. So I apologize for that, but hope that this habitat still inspires you guys for your own gorilla habitats or any other primate or monkey habitat, obviously. Also do really like the rock work and like the plants on the walls and stuff. Definitely really inspiring for my next monkey or primate habitat, like indoor habitat, that is. And here we have the red panda habitat. Definitely also a really cool habitat. Unfortunately, we did not see any red pandas. I think they are just sleeping or relaxing in those little houses you see there. But definitely just look at the climbing frames and stuff and the trees. It all looks super cool. Definitely love how lush and green it looks, but still is like pretty obvious. So as soon as you would be seeing like a red panda outside, you will be able to basically spot it when it's climbing. So I do really like how this is all set up, and definitely really inspiring as well. And here we have the mandrills. Now this habitat is probably also maybe a little tiny bit too small, but I do really love how these fake rock formations and platforms are all put together with like these tree branches and the ropes and stuff, how it's all connected. And yeah, the mandrills are just really having a lot of fun going from one level to the other level. So I do really think that they definitely really enjoy this habitat, even though I could definitely see them having a little bit more space in the future and maybe also a little bit more green and nature in general. But yeah, I do really like how this habitat is like sunken into the ground and like the combination of the rock formations and the climbing frames. And then we have the California sea lion habitat. Now this one is also like one that you could debate. Like it's a little bit too small maybe, but definitely also really classical California sea lion habitat, which looks really beautiful nonetheless. Love how all the green is overgrown on the edges and like they have these little doorways. Like obviously there is still space in the backside, but we cannot really see that. But they do have like this indoor building as well. Love the little platform in the middle, and of course the waterfall where they can also play with and stuff. And then on the other side there is like this little area as well where I think they also do like these educational talks with like feeding them and stuff, but we did not really see that this day unfortunately. And later on we went to the toilet and then noticed that there was like this big underwater viewing gallery, as well as like a lot of these educational signs and stuff to definitely inform everyone and educate everyone about the California sea lion. And of course to also see them swim underneath the water and just play around, which is obviously always a lot of fun to just sit or stand there and just enjoy the California sea lion swimming around, making circles and whatever. So yeah, definitely really enjoyed it, and definitely again like a really inspiring habitat for your own builds in Planet Zoo if you ask me. And after the California sea lion, we walked to this beautiful butterfly garden. Now, this was also a very extremely hot building, so it was not like the best thing to walk around in, but it was just so freaking beautiful and the butterflies were so gorgeous. So I really had to share a few shots with you guys, because even though we do not have any butterflies and I'm still hoping for butterfly VFXs in Planet Zoo, I just really would love to make a butterfly dome, but it doesn't really make any sense to me as long as we do not have anything that maybe looks a little bit like butterflies in the game. But yeah, fingers crossed, hopefully in the future we will be able to see some kind of VFXs or something that would give us like more reason to create like these beautiful butterfly domes in Planet Zoo as well. Definitely really inspiring and beautiful garden nonetheless. And here we have a building which I think they have bats in here. Well, I do know they have some type of bat species on like the roofing, but it was really hard to see them and put them up close with my camera, so I don't really have any footage of that. But there were also some birds and stuff walking around, and the reason why I still added this footage is just because for like these indoor type of habitats, I still think that this is definitely inspiring. So not that many shots, but I do think that hopefully at least you can get some inspiration out of this footage as well. Especially also with like these cool rock formation and this waterfall. Definitely just really inspiring for whatever you're trying to build in like an indoor habitat or indoor building for Planet Zoo. And here are some short clips of a insect hotel and like this backstage area that I was able to caught on camera. And also a shot of like this cassowary habitat, which was basically nothing more than this. I could not really see anything else than this, but I just wanted to show you guys like how lush and dense this habitat is looking. And obviously I did not see any cassowary in real life, so unfortunately, but definitely just a little peek of how Artis Zoo made their own cassowary habitat. And here we have the Aldabra giant tortoise, and oh boy, I was actually really surprised how humongous these tortoises are. It's ridiculous. I did never have the feeling in Planet Zoo that they are this big or that they can become this big. It's insane. Now, this indoor habitat is obviously pretty tiny, but I do really like the vibe they have going on and the sand and like the rock work. And I don't know what is going on with that water, but I definitely do feel like they need to fill that up. But maybe they have some kind of water area as well in the backside. I mean, I cannot imagine the zoo not taking care of these animals. So yeah, I hope they have some kind of water pipe or ugly water pipe or something like that on the other side. But they do also have this bigger area on the outside, which was obviously pretty simple with some grass and some rocks and some tree trunks. And oh boy, was the tortoise super fast? I did not see that coming. I was like bragging like, oh yeah, no, the tortoise is pretty slow, so you do not need to make like a super big habitat for them, because then in Planet Zoo they would not be able to reach the other side and they would dehydrate before they end up there. And then there was this tortoise like just almost running. It was so fast. This was ridiculous, but absolutely loved it. So yes, they have this outdoor section as well, which is pretty simple, but you're definitely able to get some inspiration for your tortoise habitat, I think. And here we have a big aviary, which is also a lot of being constructed in the background. So I'm not really sure what they are doing, but I think this is a vulture, but correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, these big birds, I always think of the Lion King when I see these birds. They have this pretty big aviary with like just a lot of rock work, a few plants, and like these logs all pointing up. Like there were a lot of these vultures also sitting on the top on higher grounds and also on rock formations and stuff. Yeah, it was really hard to make some footage through these nettings or fences. So, but it was really cool to see these guys because they are not really that shy, so they're pretty up close. And there was one vulture that tried to fly up onto like a higher log, but it just wasn't able to, and it was just going into circles. So I'm not really sure what was that all about, but it was kind of sad for that vulture, honestly. I don't know, maybe he had some kind of issues with his wings or something like that. Like the others were able to get pretty high, so I think it's something particularly for this vulture. But yeah, it was pretty sad. And right over here, we have like an African Savannah habitat, I think we can call it that way. It had like giraffes and zebras and some kind of other animals. I'm not entirely sure what they are called. I was looking for a sign. They looked a little bit like nyalas, but then again, they were not nyalas. So I'm actually not really sure what they were, but hopefully someone is watching right now and can tell us what kind of other animals are in this habitat. Now, I honestly was a little tiny bit disappointed about this habitat. I don't know. I was just probably expecting a little bit more thematic or anything like that. Like comparing to all the other habitats, like they do have a lot more space, of course. So that is definitely a good thing. But looking at the theme and stuff in other habitats, yeah, I don't know. I was just maybe a little bit disappointed about this one. And on the other side of the Savannah habitat, there was like this beautiful area with like a lot more overgrown grass and like this beautiful wooden feeder and stuff. But I actually do not know if there was an animal in there or that there is an intention to get like an animal in there. But I did want to include that footage as well because I just absolutely love that. And then on the other side of the giraffes and the zebras, there was like, I'm not really sure what it was actually. I think it's some kind of buffalo or something like that. If you guys can tell me, please do let me know in the comments down below. With like the same style of building like the giraffes have on the other side. More of a simple habitat, definitely, but it's really cool to see how these buildings are made, how they added like these feeders and stuff on the walls. So yeah, definitely really inspired inspiring still for any Planet Zoo build, I guess. Also, with like how they use logs and stuff to make it a little bit more interesting in the habitat, and also for the animals to use to scratch, for example. And then if you all the way walk to the other side of like these buffalo animals, you could see the giraffes and the nyalas, which are not the nyalas, but I don't know the name of them, on the other side as well, more up close, so you can really have a glimpse of these beautiful giraffes and stuff, which I absolutely love. So then on the other sides of the giraffes, you have an Asian elephant habitat. Now, what you're looking at this point is like more of the older section of the elephants, but they got like this huge area as well for like connected to their habitat. So the first footage is definitely very inspiring to see just how this more simple habitat is put together with like the fencing and the rock rug and all the foliage work. But man, the other side is just so impressive. Like, unfortunately, these elephants were all on this side. Now, I actually do not really know. It could be that they were still working on this Asian elephant habitat, so that is why they were not on the other side. But I think I already saw some footage on the Artis social media page on Twitter where they were using the water area. So I think they are able to go to this side, but they probably just didn't want to, even though I do not really understand, because it is such a beautiful area. Also, like, notice the rock work on the edges of all the habitats and how the fencing is put together and how they're using like these tree logs and stuff, and there are mud pools everywhere and like enrichment items hanging down. It looks absolutely fantastic. But definitely the highlight of this habitat is the huge water area, where you also have like this path a little bit lowered going through the water, which just looks absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely love this habitat. And I think this is one of the examples of habitats that are expanded later on to obviously give the animals some more space. And I think they actually, like, they're city zoos, so it's not like you have so much space around your zoo that you can use. But I think for this habitat, and correct me if I'm wrong, they kind of used part of the parking lot that was next to the zoo and used that to expand this beautiful Asian elephant habitat, which is just really cool. And it really shows how creative a zoo needs to be, especially a city zoo, to be able to still expand their habitat and to give enough room for these animals. But yeah, everything just takes a lot of time and a lot of money as well, but definitely a really cool example of an upgraded habitat in Artis Zoo. So here we have two short clips of the African wild dog habitat. Definitely also added this footage due to the fencing and like the double fencing in front of it and how they use the foliage and stuff. Other than that, it was not really that big of a habitat. It was pretty simple with just some trees and some logs and of course like this enrichment thing for like meat on it. But yeah, I did not see any African wild dogs, unfortunately. And then on the other side of the African wild dog, you have like this big aviary with like a lot of netting and like it feels a little bit like ruins or something like that, like a pretty old but beautiful vibe it has to them with like these overgrown plants and stuff. And in this aviary, you could find the red-crowned crane and a white owl. You can see the white owl somewhere in a little corner, but I actually didn't really notice it was there until I saw the footage. So yeah, that was kind of a pity. But yeah, beautiful habitat, definitely very inspiring as well for an aviary in Planet Zoo. And then right over here, we have some footage of the West African lion habitat. Now, this is one of the habitats that still needs to be changed. In fact, they actually wanted to move the West African lions in 2021 to France because the zoo just did not have any money to expand their habitats in the future, and they just were not able to see any solution for that until there was someone that donated like a lot of money. So yeah, they are able to stay now in Artis Zoo, and the coming years they will be working on a beautiful new habitat for these West African lions. And here we have a reptile house. Now, it was also extremely hot inside of this building, and I was not really enjoying that, to be honest. So I only made a little bit of footage on the inside to give you guys an idea of how this reptile house is made in Artis Zoo, and hopefully it will give you some inspiration of a few of the smaller reptiles. I think they had like a crocodile or something in one of the bigger aviaries, in one of the bigger areas. Also with the waterfall and stuff. And of course, in the other exhibits, you had a lot of different type of animals. But honestly, I did not really see that many animals. But I also did not stay too long on the inside because it was just so hot. But hopefully you guys are getting some inspiration of this footage as well for if you are going to make like a reptile house or something like that. Because I do think, especially for like a city zoo vibe, this is just a perfect example for inspiration of how to make one. And here we have a little bit of footage of a walkthrough habitat for a red-ruffed lemur. Now, honestly, there were some red-ruffed lemurs, but they were all sleeping somewhere in the middle of some bushes. So it was not very exciting to walk around here. But I do really feel like these climbing frames and also the little cabin and stuff in the middle are definitely very inspiring for if you are going to create some kind of lemur walkthrough habitat. Definitely really cool, but yeah, a little bit disappointed that there were no lemurs at all walking around here, unfortunately. And then you have probably one of the coolest habitats of the zoo, which is so underrated because no one was looking at this habitat, but this is the Alpine Ibex habitat. And honestly, if I would not be playing Planet Zoo, it would also probably not be a habitat where I would be standing still and just enjoy how this is made. But honestly, I absolutely love how this habitat is looking. Yes, it's probably too small for these animals, totally agree, but just the way how this is set up with like the different height elevations and the rockwork and like these little shelter areas where they can walk into and stuff. Absolutely love this habitat, how this is made. So hopefully you guys do understand the excitement that I have with this type of habitat, because I do really think that it looks really cool. And then right over here, we have probably the red-faced spider monkey habitat. Now, this one also has like this, can't call it an island really, because there are more climbing frames as well, just in the water itself, and it looks just really impressive with like all the ropes and on all the tree trunks and stuff. Absolutely love how this is set up, but again, there were no monkeys outside, unfortunately, and they have like this shelter building which was like made all the way from glass, but I don't really think that you could come really close, unfortunately, but it looked really cool. Like they have a lot of climbing frames and like hammock and stuff on the inside. So yeah, definitely also a really inspiring habitat. And last but not least, we have this beautiful city zoo-ish building that used to be like a combination of aviaries and a monkey house, if I'm correct. And I actually regret, like we had so much pain on our feet, we couldn't really walk anymore. So at this point, which was like the last area that we visited, I just couldn't really walk. And later on when I came back, I was like, oh shoot, this was like the most beautiful area, probably like city zoo style, beautiful theme, like absolutely love this area. So I do really regret that I did not really make more footage of this area, but if I will ever visit Artis Zoo again in the future, I will definitely make sure to make some more footage of this area. So yeah, I definitely really enjoyed our visit at Artis Zoo, and I really do hope you guys enjoyed this vlog as well. Even though it was not really intended to be this way, I do really hope you guys like the footage and are inspired as much as I am with this beautiful zoo with some really great habitat inspiration. Please do let me know in the comments down below, and do tell me, of course, what was your most favorite thing of this vlog, of what kind of habitat inspired you the most. Leave something nice in the comments down below. Leave a like at the video if you guys enjoyed, and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And also do let me know if you would like to see more of these type of vlogs of Dutch zoos that I can hopefully share with you guys. Do let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really do hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye guys!